Three. Hello, everyone, and this is Ron here with the DroneNation show. I've been on the road. I've been on a whirlwind tour of Florida and the southern states, but I'm now happily back in the studio again, co-hosting this show with the great Marcus Crawford. I think we have a pretty good show for you tonight. And we have a super special guest who hasn't been on in a while, but he was on like one of the first DroneNations or whatever a long time ago, and he's been on many times since. But Duran's going to be joining us from the Duranify YouTube channel tonight. So you probably saw the topics. We're going to get into a few of the topics tonight. And I want to start the show off with a couple notes here. Sean Isles will be going live right after this show at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with original Dobo, Ken Dono. So that's going to be a good show. So we're going to try to get out of here early and send you people all over the Sean show. And we do have the NCAA basketball championships, men's basketball championship probably on right now. So go peek at the game, but you'll want to stay here because Marcus, I have some breaking news and stuff for you tonight. Not just kidding, really. But and before I throw it to Marcus, I do want to congratulate him on. I've been away, but I do know in the past week or so he has not only got completed his COVID shots with his second one, but he has also become a Part 107 certified pilot. So it's been a big couple weeks for our man Marcus Crawford here. So I want to congratulate him, and I want to throw it over to him so we can catch up on what he's been up to outside of those big events we just mentioned.
Well, thank you very much, Ron. So those a couple of things. The Part 107 deal, Ron and I have talked about it many times. It's something both of us should have done a long time ago, but, it's easy to procrastinate. But anyway, we did get that done. And then, so got that second COVID shot done. And you never know, I might get a haircut one of these days.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I got to tell you, this is pissing my wife off so bad. She does not like this. So
a good thing you don't have all your hair left, or you'd be looking like a real hippie.
Yeah.
You can still kind of push it behind the ears a little bit, right?
I think I could. Yeah. I haven't had hair this long since I was probably in my 20s. I mean, I'm not kidding.
When I had my COVID long hair, I could hide it behind a hat. I could just push the hair and then put the hat on and kind of tuck it down. If you didn't see the very back where it stuck out, I was kind of good.
Yeah, exactly. I tell you what, my goal is I've been trying to look like the Nutty Professor.
Okay. People of our age remember the Jerry Lewis original movie, and the younger folks remember the Eddie Murphy remake. There you go.
I'm starting to, clearly Mikey is rubbing off on me, right? I mean,
maybe you could go with that hairstyle. Maybe you could you build the channel even bigger. With coming on. I'm the nutty drone reviewer and have the hair going out, and you maybe have something going there. But But anyhow, folks, we digress here.
Yeah, we need to talk about drones.
Yeah, we need to get going here because we're on a tight schedule thing. I do have a couple little show notes. I just got home and completed my video from the Great Florida Drone Meetup. It seems like it's a long time ago, but I think it was like only 3 weeks ago this weekend or something. So I've got the video up. Go ahead it's on my channel, but I'll throw it on the DroneNation channel too. You get to see a lot of the folks that were there. I kind of did little mini interviews with as many people I could get a hold of. And I've got some nice bits in there. I think you'll enjoy it. And also I ordered a lot of stuff from Start RC, and this is one of the, the drone lights or whatever. And this is like a small one. I'm going to put this on the DJI Mini 2 drone or whatever for, so I can fly at what is civil twilight and all that stuff. Half hour after the sun drops below the horizon, I'll be, Part 107 certified professionally, flying at civil twilight with this light. I will do a complete review on it and whatever.
You need to understand, you would not be legal to do that until you take that supplemental test.
Which supplemental test is that?
Well, the party, it says on when. And I don't know when they'll have it available, but even as Part 107, there is a supplemental test that you have to take before you can fly at night.
And do we have a link for that or anything?
I don't think I
and this isn't really night flying. This is when it's still light, but the sun has dropped below the horizon.
Yeah.
Which isn't really night flying. It's not, that night flying is an hour after the
civil twilight, half an hour after and a half hour before.
Yeah. So this is when I'll be using this thing. I'm going to try it on the Air too. But okay, with no further ado, we're going to bring our distinguished guests in here all the way from the great state of Virginia, which I had the opportunity to be in twice in the past couple of weeks, kind of coming and going. And you know what the license plates say in Virginia, don't you, Marcus? Virginia is for lovers.
Nice.
So we have an official Virginia lover coming on here. I wonder if Al was actually born in Virginia, but we'll find out in a second. Welcome to the show, Al.
Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate.
Were you born in Virginia, or did you just live there?
No, I'm a naturalized U.S. citizen. I was born and raised in Guatemala. Came to the United States of America in 1969 when I was 10 years old. So, and I was naturalized in 1986. So it took me a while. So when I see people, kind of cheating the system, it kind of upsets me a little bit because, when you do things the right way and you see other people doing it not so right, it kind of...
Si habla español?
Muy bien, amigo.
Oh, oui. Oh, no, that's...
yeah, we speak Spanish, okay.
So Virginia's kind of your adopted home then.
Yeah, and it was a pretty interesting trip to the U.S. My mother told my father, which is very unusual in the Latin American culture, that she's grabbing the two youngest children, moving to D.C., told my father, find a job in D.C. and sell the house. And she took off, man. And it's a long story, but to make it long story short, she was raised in Latin America without a father. And that's kind of, everybody picks on you, right? So she developed a very hard skin and she just knew how to do it. And she was one of the people that spoke 3 languages and worked for the Guatemalan Congress. So she got invited to go to the UN congregations from Guatemala. So she saw New York and she's like, I'm out of Guatemala, going. And so she found a job at one of the financial world banks, and the rest is history, man, as they say.
That's a great story.
Yeah, it's amazing, man, that, she changed the generations of Durans forever. You know what I mean? It's given everybody the opportunity. Now, my oldest daughter, she's got a doctorate degree. She's an occupational therapist. My youngest is working on a psychiatry degree, going to become a psychiatrist. And my middle one is financial advisor. So I'm super proud and I'm bragging. So that's okay, right? We all brag about our children. And it's always good to do that.
So, Mr. Brown, what's our first? Yeah, I know we've got a couple important drones to talk about.
Yeah. And I want to shout out real fast. We got Brad Alston, River City RVA in here with us, and Brad for the South Florida Drone Meetup, he made these cool little coasters that have a map of South Florida and the location of the park, and so these are really nice. And he also made up name badges for everybody that he knew was coming, where you had your name, and on the back it has information about the location of the meetup. So I want to give Brad Alston a big shout out. And Brad was also injured like the day after the FPV flight too, but I think he's doing better now. And Johnny Joe Flyer and Captain Ray from Fly for Fun show gave these little stickers out too.
Oh wow.
Oh, and Sean Oz, he gave out a couple little stickers too at the drone meetup. Some of his artwork he does, for his tattoo business. So,
unbelievably nice, Sean. That looks beautiful, Matty.
Yeah, so it was quite a bit of swag given out. I don't know if I got everything here, but I just wanted to. I saw Brad out there, and I just wanted to shout that out. And we got a couple guys there. I saw Capture Life in here, Capture Life Connection. Stevie, he's in my video. He had the Mavic, the FPV drone or whatever. But
Ron, can I stop you for just a second?
You go right ahead.
Well, somebody just jumped in the chat that we definitely got to acknowledge. Captain Ray himself is here.
All right.
Oh, he must have heard us talking about him.
Yeah.
Good
Captain
job.
Ray, the organizer of the blessed event, Marcus.
The
Hey,
blessed
Marcus?
event, and that's Art Drones. Art invented that. I just thought that was hilarious.
I'm going
He's
to
a
follow
comedian,
Marcus'
after
lead,
all.
Ron, and interrupt you guys again. So I have an ask, like I mentioned earlier. Hey, guys, I am close to reaching 3,000 subscribers. I need your help reaching that 3,000 subscribers. And like I told you guys, my goal is to reach 5,000 subscribers this year. So I'm going to do a big push. I retired officially. So guess what? I'm going to be doing the Marcus thing, just kind of droning on. So help me out, guys. Let's get going, and we'll promote each other as much as we can, and we'll grow together.
Fly drones, have fun.
Yeah.
And the official name of your channel is, if anybody wants to go subscribe to it, Al.
I'll put it in right now.
Okay, great.
Muy bueno.
So, well, okay. Well, again, we're going to get into our topics here, and then we'll have open discussion. We have some time at the end. Okay. We've been talking about this for a couple weeks, the Fimi Mini, and we think it's due real soon this week. What we know is Banggood is selling it. They have kind of a raffle system going on, and also our friends over at AliExpress are selling too, where the official Fimi store is. Well, maybe Al's got some inside information. Al, do you have any information on this new Fimi Mini drone that's about to launch?
I don't. I've been kind of, ADK Drones, Fred Johnson, he's got the inside track. He's going to be getting one early, pretty soon.
Now, who's this, Al?
Fred Johnson. So he's ADK Drones.
Okay.
So, put him on your radar and send him an invite, get him out here. And because he's going to be doing the reviews on it. So I just put my channel link in there for you guys to hit up, and then
Okay, so everybody go over there and sub up Al's channel. The problem is, Al, probably everybody in here already subbed up to you. If somebody out there is not subbed up to you, sub them up.
Send it to your friends.
Hey, send it to your friends and family. Now, Al, are you going to be ordering the Fimi Mini drone when it's available?
I'm not sure I'm going to stay up till 3 a.m. to do it, but because I'm in East Coast time, and I put in the Duranified channel with the short version in there. Yeah, I'm definitely going to order it. I mean, I might get up early, maybe 6 a.m, and bang, hit that buy button, right?
Oh, hit the Marcus Crawford buy button.
Boom, boom.
So I think we should clarify a couple of things, Ron. When we talk about Banggood, it's just a pre-order over there.
Pre-order.
So I guess what I want to tell everybody is to manage your expectations. And Ron and Al, we talked about this a little bit. It took us over 3 months to get our Xeno 2s, over 3 months to get our Fimi X8 SE 2020s. I would not expect, if you order on Banggood, I would not expect this to be any different. So can I stop you just for a second, Marcus? Am I wrong or not? Did both those companies blame the COVID on those slow releases last year? Did the Xeno 2 did almost right away? Didn't we hear them using the COVID as the excuse? They did, but Ron, let me add to that. It was exactly the same with the 2018 version of the Fimi, and that was long before COVID. So I'm just going to say, manage your expectations. That's all. If you order it on Banggood, you may not get it until July or something like that. And if you go into it with that in your mind, you're not going to be so quite so disappointed. And the other thing you alluded to, Ron, that I want to make clear is they do have that. It's kind of a lottery system where on Banggood only 500 people are going to get it for $319. And if I understand AliExpress correctly, that is their price is $319. Now, I assume everybody's going to get it for that. We probably won't know till, like Al said, 3 o'clock this morning or whatever, when they go live with it. Ron, I know you've already got it in your cart, yes, as do I. So I don't know if that'll make a difference or not. Anyway,
can I give a quick shout out to DeMarco posted we have his uncle Kevin Moore is joined the Monday crew for the first time. He currently owns the Mini and the original Mavic Pro. So let's all welcome DeMarco's Uncle Kevin in here with us tonight.
Yeah, welcome on in, Uncle Kevin.
Yeah. So sorry to cut you off, Marcus, but and Al too. May I ask you this question: What do you figure the best strategy is to order this drone?
I think AliExpress is the best way to go. I mean, Banggood's always been not so good. I don't know if you guys have had issues with purchases with AliExpress. You go through this kind of arbitration process, and I bought the C-Fly, and it was like a brick when I got it. It worked for like one flight, and then it quit working. It wouldn't connect to that. And so you go through this arbitration. You either accept or you continue on to try to get your money back. So it's a whole lot better. They're more responsive, right? So they're holding their sellers that are in their, I don't know, distribution chain or whatever, their sources to be accountable. So in Banggood, I have not had any luck like that. What's your experience, guys, with Banggood versus AliExpress? That's mine.
Yeah, with returns, I don't know if I've ever returned anything on AliExpress, so I can't speak to that. But, we've all tried to deal with issues with Banggood. If you have a problem with the drone, listen, let's put it to you this way. If you buy something like that on Banggood, you need to manage your expectations. You need to understand that, you bought it and you bought it. Anything, if you have a problem, it's always tough to get any satisfaction. It just isn't like ordering from Amazon in any way. Am I wrong, Ron? I mean, that's really how you have to look at it.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, I tend to order, budget price drones through, places like Banggood, whatever, because I kind of know that if I have any real issue with it, like the drone takes off and crashes and breaks the first time, it's probably on me. I'm probably never getting full satisfaction. So that's why I would order your more advanced drones from a place where you would have a true course to return. So yeah, I mean, good point. So whether it's Banggood, AliExpress, GearBest, I think you'd have a problem with returns at all areas. I mean, even when they say you can return it, you have to pay the return shipping, which is a good percent of the final cost of the drone. So that's usually not a good option, because there's even if it came from a U.S. warehouse, they don't let you return it to a U.S. warehouse. You have to send it to a Chinese warehouse. But we've been through all this return.
Well, we should say Fimi as a company will stand behind it a little bit. I mean, it's not like they just leave you completely out to dry. So, we've had people that have had, like Bill the drone reviewer, he didn't like his X8 SE. They sent him he had to send his back. They sent him another drone with a battery in it, so it kind of made up for what it cost him in shipping. So it's just those kind of things. The point is, it's not like Amazon. It's not like you just send it back.
Right. And unfortunately, things like the Fimi product don't have good availability on Amazon. So waiting for it to come on Amazon will probably never happen. But just to consolidate things, so we think the best. Is Sean join us?
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Sean. Yeah, we love your stickers. We were showing them off earlier. And Sean will be on at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with original Dobo Ken Dono tonight at 10. So don't miss that show. Coming up right after this show, we will try to wrap up so you good folks in the audience can jump right over there. So the conclude here is we think the best strategy to order the Fimi Mini is to either stay up late tonight or get up early in the morning and order from AliExpress. Is that what we're coming up with?
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, if you notice that in your cart, it shows, I was just looking at it, $911 or something like that right now.
Right.
So I'm hoping, that the cart price changes right at midnight, Pacific Standard Time, because I'm not going to hit it. There's no way that thing is worth $911.
Yeah, exactly. And I brought this topic up to Marcus, offline the other day. I'm saying, I know, the specs on the Fimi Mini, the camera specs will be better, have a better bit rate. But at the end of the day, when you get them out and fly them, do you think the video from the Fimi Mini will look as good? I'm only say better, as good. 3-year-old Anafi.
Yeah, well, it's no. I doubt it will be as good. If it is as good as what we get on the Anafi, it'll be a winner, right?
Right.
Yeah.
For a 3-year-old drone, the
yeah.
Forget about the specs, forget about the bit rates, all that. The video and pictures look good off this thing.
Yeah, it's all about the glass, right? So if it has a good glass, you will get a good image. The bad thing about the drone you're holding, Ron, is that stupid range, right?
Right.
So if you're following something, you want to keep going, that thing will just turn around and come back.
That's the only downside to that.
Right. But if you're
one of these.
If you're a professional, you need to get good video and picture. This won't let you down, but some of those range ones will.
Exactly right.
Your person you're working for said that video stinks. What about that crooked horizon? And what about that lens flare? This doesn't have any of that. But sorry, I don't mean to digress.
Well, hey, I wanted
to 3-year-old drone.
I wanted to tell Sean this is the official sticker of DroneNation as well. We're officially Sean Oz fans. So DroneNation, that Sean Oz artwork is it's the cool stuff.
Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, and I love the atom, right? So with the electrons flying around it in the background, right? So if you guys didn't notice, he's got it going on. So, hey, you're doing a Frankenstein thing there, so it looks good.
So yes, okay. So
I'm sorry, Ron. I didn't mean to.
Have we? I'm trying to keep the show moving. Have we wrapped up with the Mini? Should we go on to the?
I wanted to
Air?
ask.
You're going to the Air 2 rumors. Do you have something to finish up with?
I've got some big news on the Air 2, but before we move on to that, on the Air 2S, I would like to ask Al about what features he's interested in on the Fimi Mini, because there's Ron, you've brought it up before. There's some variances as opposed to what we're going to see, what we've seen already with the Mini 2. What's the big one for you, Al?
Well, obviously, he's going to compete directly with the Mini 2, right? So he's got, same resolution of camera. Hopefully, the bit rate will stands up to the Mini 2, which I really doubt it, because DJI's cameras are just, unrivaled in the industry right now. But, the AI stuff. So if you're looking to get tracked while you're riding your bike and you're holding your controller, and don't fall down, that's going to be a feature that's important. The circle beam mode while you're riding the bike. So let's say you wanted to do an intro of, you got an FPV flight coming out, right? And you want to take this guy and show it off. So as you're going to the flight location, you spin that thing up and have it circling you as you're walking to the location. And so you could use that as your intro, as a matter of fact, right? Which I've done with the Skydio 2, which is fantastic drone to use for those kind of B-roll that you're, walking into the scene and this thing's following you around, or you're pedaling your bike to the island that you're going to fly from, or whatever, you're doing the climb to go fly from there. that's one of the things that the Mini will be able to do, the Fimi Mini, where the Mini 2 is still lacking those features. So again, as a travel drone, that's going to give you a little bit more flexibility as far as, hands off. You don't have to fly it. You don't have to track it. So if you wanted to track your daughter as she's running down the beach, you want to put it in profile mode versus, following from behind, you can switch it up. So those are the things that will differentiate it from the Mini 2, which I think that's the competitor, right? That's the only other feature, and everything else, I don't care about the horizon being crooked because that can be fixed, right? In post. You should zoom in.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do it all the time. So it takes a little extra time. I don't know if you don't do it, Marcus. You probably don't have the time to do it. But if you really wanted to,
I just wanted to tell you, Al, I don't have to do that with my DJI drones. And if he wants to play in that sandbox, I don't know.
Hey, Al, real quick, Rich Flyer 32's got a comment up on the screen for you. He says, "Hey, Al, I got it. Fimi Mini piggyback on the DJI Mini 2."
That's a good one, man. I like it. Yeah. Well, I probably was going to put it on my who's the strongest drone, right? I'll put it on that little device that I made to measure what's got the most thrust. But I want to ask you guys.
Excuse me again. Let me answer Sean Oz's question. Sean, I got tracking today, but it's not even in the system yet. It must not be on the back of a truck yet. So I don't expect it this week. Sorry, I'll go right. I just wanted to answer.
Yeah, no, I wanted to ask a question to the audience and to the panel. Who here was not a big DJI fan prior to buying their first DJI or having them given to you or whatever?
My first real drone was the Phantom 4. So
you've been
my first real drones. That's kind of where I started.
Yeah,
I mean, same with me. The Phantom 3 was kind of other than a toy drone, was the first real drone I ever owned. So I've been I'm fine being called a DJI fanboy. They make great products, and I'm not going to apologize for that. I like all drones. I like my Fimi drones, but I do recognize their deficiencies.
I've already proved to you that I buy drones that aren't DJI.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that will not buy DJI because they just don't want to be in that bandwagon. I was one of those guys. Somebody gave me a Spark, and that kind of put me over the fence, right? But I did not buy it. So I just didn't want to follow that bandwagon. I just wanted to kind of cut my own path. But once you realize how good the technology is, then you can't avoid but like the products, right? Because they're solid all the way around, hardware, software.
The point of it is this Fimi Mini is what is going to be measured against the DJI Mini 2. It will, and if it's not, then it's just another also ran.
Yeah,
I hope it's great.
It will compete against the Mini 2 because of the weight, but it offers those advanced features like Al was talking about, tracking, waypoints that you have to go up to the Air 2 to get into the DJI line. So it kind of be a hybrid, really, if those features work, as Marcus always points out.
Yeah, let's hope so, that they got the algorithms figured out, right? Because if it does work, man, we need competition. We need this. The market needs this, right? And so, Fimi left Xiaomi, and Fimi strong-armed her back in by firing all their engineers and putting new engineers into the group. So hopefully those new engineers that Xiaomi planted in there will be doing some really good software development that will improve those algorithms, like Marcus hated, Horizon problem, right?
Yeah. Indeed.
Oh, hand, sorry.
Yeah. No worries. I agree.
Hey, no, what? This is why you don't fly FPVs, because
That's different. That's not even the same thing.
You will never see a horizon straight when you fly these things.
Well, unless you put your GoPro on there with horizon mode on, but that's apples and oranges to me. An FPV drone, the whole point of it is you're supposed to see that banking and so forth. So a little different story there, in my opinion. Well,
I agreed. I mean, it's definitely it's definitely a different animal, right? It's more of a hobbyist type, where you build it and you fix it, you crash it and you fix it, like crash it and you fix it and crash it and you fix it. You know what I mean? Burnt out motors, broken chassis, broken propellers, but you don't have to send them away.
I would.
Well, yeah.
I'd have to send it to you, Al.
There you go.
The fixer of all drones. Yeah. Hey, listen. Let's move. We said we're already at the 9:32 mark. Let's move on to the latest DJI Air 2S rumors. Our buddy Ositalev put a tweet out last night with a little, almost like a little DJI commercial of the drone and the camera moving around. And in his video, we kind of discovered that it's a 1-inch sensor with a 20 megapixel camera on it, but it was no Hasselblad branding on the camera as on the Mavic 2 Pro that we're used to. So that's one issue. And then another thing is the sensors. It seems to have top sensors that the regular Air 2 lacked. I think Marcus has some points on this he would like to get to.
Yeah, well, no, I just was looking at that DroneXL post that you're talking about, Ron. I mean, they're also saying silent props and obstacle avoidance on the top, and I think it was on another channel I heard some rumors that even changes the way it's kind of an enhanced obstacle avoidance on it, which will be interesting. The other thing is you heard it here first. This drone is going to be out on the 15th of this month is when it'll be available. So
the Air 2S?
The Air 2S will be introduced on the 15th of this month. So
now, will that be a pre-order situation, or that will be the day we can actually put our order in and it'll ship the next day?
Well, your guess is as good as mine.
Okay.
But you'll be able to order it from DJI. We went through that with the original Mini, that you ordered it, but it didn't ship for like a week later or something like that. So I don't know.
Now, what day will Best Buy put it out on the shelf early? Will that be?
I would assume it would be
the 13th. What day should we wander the Best Buy aisles?
Yeah, well, you might try. I think the Best Buy probably learned their lesson, but I suspect you'll be able to go into Best Buy on the 15th and purchase one.
Well, if you have the Mavic 2 Pro, you better start selling your fleet, because this is going to kill the Mavic 2 Pro. Maybe, the DJI products hold their value so well, right? It's like the Toyotas. And BMW to some degree on the high end, but Mercedes for sure. But 1-inch sensor, it just doesn't have all the sensors that the Mavic 2 Pro has, lateral sensors and all that. So
we don't know the capability.
Yeah, we don't know. From looking at the pictures, it didn't look like it, but
it does not. Yeah, it does not have side sensors. But my understanding is that they did enhance that somehow, and I suspect those front sensors on the top there, how they are, may have something to do with that. So I don't know if we'll really know the full how that obstacle avoidance, that OA will work on that drone. But
so
now what are we looking at as a price point, guys?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw the same rumors you guys did there, that it's it's going to be similar a little more. But so my guess is going to be, what's the most more that they could charge? Another $50 like they did with the Mini, or $100 at the most, don't you think?
So you're saying $900, and the I'm saying $1,200.
I'm saying 700. Let's see, 800 for if it was just the single battery version, and I'm saying 1100 or 1150 if it was the Fly More.
Yeah, I was thinking that it's going to be $1,200 with the Fly More, 900 just a single because of that 1-inch sensor.
I was gonna say even 800
That
or
1-inch sensor is going to
the 1-inch sensor is going to be the bargain of the century.
Yeah, that 1-inch sensor is going to bump it up at least $200, I think.
Well, I mean, we also need to look at it this way. Whoever thought that they would pack everything that they did into the Mini 2 into a little drone for $450? So DJI has this history of
leveraging everything,
of packing a lot of features into those drones, and if and when a Mavic 3 ever shows up, I suspect there'll be some magic in that thing that'll just knock our socks off. But this Air 2S sounds like it's going to be a phenomenal piece of technology, no question about it.
I would think the Mavic 3 will probably have FLIR built in, like the enterprise class already, That's what I'm thinking, because everybody wants that. So you'll be able to switch it back and forth between the infrared, or your regular camera. That's what I'm hoping that the Mavic 3 brings to the table. It brings those enterprise class features down to the Mavic 3. That's my guess, because, that product line on the high end is so nice, with the built-in sensors all the way around. It's probably going to have better sensors, as Marcus said. I'm looking forward to that too, the real high end. And it's definitely going to crush the Inspire, right? I think they already discontinued Inspire 2. Is that correct?
Yeah. Sean Air Photography is saying in the chat that the silent props sound interesting, and that is interesting too. And DroneXL mentioned that specifically. So what does he mean by silent props? I mean, I've heard quiet props before, but he specifically said silent props. So it's going to be interesting to see what does that really mean. And I guess we'll find out when we actually have the drone in.
So I'm trying to scroll down and get his comment, but how far back do I have to go?
Yeah, let's see. It's about the 5th comment up right now from the last.
Yeah,
I got it. Welcome in, Sean, from Air Photography.
Yeah,
Sean just did a nice, like, kind of like 30-day in review of the DJI FPV drone.
Frickin' loved that review, Sean. That was phenomenal. Yeah.
Hey, did you see Lon Denard's comment? That he's saying that the drone only is $999 and Fly More is $1,200, $1,199.
How far am I going back?
Where'd you hear that? I wanted to ask them that.
Yeah, but I struggle that they would make that big of a jump in price, although you never know.
I know. That one, I'm sure that 1-inch sensor is not cheap.
People, you heard talk before that maybe DJI just using off-the-shelf parts, and putting, the 1-inch sensor from the Mavic 2 Pro on that thing, because they're not going to be making the Mavic 2 Pro anymore. They're making the Mavic 3. They're just using used parts on this and saving money. But of course, they must have taken the Hasselblad branding off of it before they moved it over. So, I mean, all this is just rumor.
Well, the other thing is this is a drone that's 3 years newer than the Mavic 2 Pro. It's going to have more advanced components inside. One of the downsides of the Mavic 2 Pro has been the processor. So, and I think TX Arch Drone Guy, is that comment you put up there, Ron, is exactly right, Ron. It probably will be double the cost of the Air 2S.
Yeah, and to Al's point, I think when we see the specs of the Air 2S on the 15th, how far that pushes the bar, that'll give us a better indication of where the Mavic 3 ends up. If the 2S doesn't push the bar that far, then you can tamper your expectations maybe for the Mavic 3. But if the Air 2S goes all out, has all this stuff that we just said, that's going to push the bar of the Mavic 3 up even higher. So again, in the 15th, well, I think we'll have a better idea of the 3 when we see the 4S and the 2S.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the 15th now. And but to your point, Ron, that you were just making, when hasn't DJI pushed that bar way further than we thought they would? You know, and I'm thinking back even as recently as the Mavic Air, or excuse me, the Mini 2. You know, we were all just hoping that, oh gosh, I hope it has 4K video, but they added so much more to it than that.
Right.
You know, with OcuSync and everything. I just think you have to, you know, again, as I was talking about with the Fimi, manage your expectations. Only in this case with DJI, it's usually just the opposite. They push it further than you think.
Yeah, it's true. Drew, Matt Conduff is saying he's here in the 27th for the release date and not the 15th.
And I'm going to throw a curveball to everybody here.
I'm going to say the 15th.
So, what about the Skydio 2X? What was the X2D?
X2,
the X2D is what they're saying. So, you know, everybody's looking forward to that. I don't know if you guys are on the waiting list for that. I am. I really want to get my hands on that thing because there's so many really good implications from that product line, right? I wonder, you know, when they're going to release that product. I mean,
that's what I was going to say. Is that an imminent release?
I haven't heard anything. I know that I pinged their marketing group. I'm on their list to get, you know, hopefully selected to look at one. So, yeah, I mean, it's not going to be a cheap drone, but is the Mavic 3 going to be cheap? Heck no. But, you know, it's going to have the ruggedness and hopefully it'll have some of the obstacle avoidance. It doesn't look like it from the architecture. You know, the first release of their military boys holding that thing. What are your guys' thoughts? I mean,
Capture Life Connection is saying in the chat here that DJI knows what we want before we know we want it, and I think that's so true. That is exactly right. And to answer your question, Al, I think the whole point of Skydio, their whole thing is that they have obstacle avoidance. That's their whole deal. So no question that military grade drone is going to have from Skydio. I mean, that's their thing.
Yeah, and the forward-looking infrared is the big deal too, because now we're looking for images that are behind things, right? Because we can get that you know, infrared signature that we are all looking to get. So
not me.
No, I mean,
what do I need infrared now? If I was doing commercial work, I could understand it. Or if I'm in the military, infrared would be important to me. But I'm sorry, I don't mean to. I'm just saying that it's just not something I'm interested in.
Well, I mean, for security purposes around your property, that's awesome. You know, obviously you live in an urban environment, so it's not going to be important to you, right? But if you're in an environment that you're looking to secure your property and make sure that nothing's coming around you, I mean, this is game on, right? So it's targeting that type of clientele. And so if you're looking to set up an automatic detection system where you have this ring bell sense motion detector, put this thing up in the air and look. You know what I mean? So if you're looking for that ultimate type of security system, this is the platform that can handle it day or night. It can track.
Do we have an idea of when that will be shipped to end users, Al?
No, I have not been getting any emails. I have not heard, but I'm on their list. That's all I know. But I'll have to ping him again. Well, I think it's going to be a breakout company if this thing comes out quickly enough for.
Yeah, the Skydio stuff's always interesting. Things happen so slow over there. Hey, listen, we're down to like 15 minutes left, so let's move on to one of the next stories. I'm going to skip the story number 4 here because we have Hot Rod in Daytona in the chat here, and Hot Rod's one of the the most knowledgeable person when it comes to the Autel EVO 2 series of drones. I had the good fortune to meet him at the Florida Drone Meetup, and we had a very good conversation. But anyhow, and he let me know about this. The Autel EVO 2 got a big firmware update a couple weeks ago. I just was able to install it the other day when I returned home from Florida because I didn't have the drone with me. And it adds orbiting hyperlapse, which I'm not sure. Marcus, do any of the drones we know have orbiting hyperlapse?
No, but you and I have talked about this. I think that's just an awesome feature. That was a great idea.
I did one for the first time, when I just flew it yesterday or Saturday or something for when I did the update, and I did it, and I only got a 2-second one because you have to fiddle with the settings and that stuff. But it created such a big file that I could not actually send it to Marcus or whatever without shrinking it somehow. But it was it was awesome 2 seconds of it doing this orbiting hyperlapse around a pier. So I think they've really got themselves kind of a winning intelligent flight mode there that maybe the other drones in his class don't have. It had some other nice updates too. I saw along the way too, a lot of minor behind the hood things, but I think it's a real solid update. And I want to shout out Hot Rod Daytona for doing the testing on it early on. Al, do you have the Autel EVO 2 at all?
Man, I'm gonna get one. The problem is I ordered a bunch of drones from China. I got a special contact, and it was shipped out 6 months ago, and I still have not received it. It's stuck in Puerto Rico right now in some container, and they won't release it. I don't know why. I got like 10 drones on that shipment that are stuck in there, and I'm just like dying to get them. So unfortunately, I don't, because I don't know why they won't release them. So I'm thinking I'm going to put an insurance claim with the shipper and just give my money back, because I could have, it was definitely a deal. It was like I picked it up for like $600 to $800.
Oh wow!
Brand new. Okay. So it was like a company in China that went out of business. They repoed all their stuff, and then they had to liquidate them. So, I was like, okay, even if I use it for a year and sell it, I could double my money back. You know what I mean? Oh man!
Well, hopefully you get it. It's a heck of a drone, and it's still, it's about a year old now, but it's still, a strong competitor out there in the market. And Hot Rod's giving me a hard time about finally getting installed. We got to do a Autel show sometime, and we got to get Rod on with us because he's definitely one of the more knowledgeable people when it comes to that drone out there.
I saw him in your video, Rod.
Yep. And okay, so we're down to 12 minutes. So let's move on to another story. Did you guys see this? A company that supplies parts for FPV drone flyers, Drone Racing League. I'm not saying the name right, but their CEO, their company's CEO, has filed a lawsuit against.
Oh no, that's what is that? RDQ. That's.
Help me out.
Hang on.
Well, then you get the name. I'm going to tell the story. You can pop the name at the end. Okay, yeah. So this company is suing the FAA over the remote ID law, because of course it makes it tough for FPV pilots. And
they quads. And Jake's Drone Life answered this.
Okay, we got it, Al. So this is something that a lot of people have been hoping would happen, that they would get sued out of putting the remote ID in. But Marcus has a little bit of different take on this story, maybe a little bit of a controversial one. Marcus, do you want to share your thoughts you shared with me last night about this?
Yeah, so there's definitely two sides to that coin. I mean, I have the same. I have concerns about remote ID like everybody else does, right? I mean, we don't want
somebody coming to where you're flying and giving you a hard time.
I don't think any of us mind the authorities knowing. Although if I'm in Class G airspace, I don't even know why the authorities need to know where I'm at. I mean, I understand if you're anywhere in controlled airspace, I absolutely understand why they need to know. But that all that argument aside, the flip side of the coin is this: the there are some good things that are going to come with remote ID. And Jason Schappert over at Remote Pilot 101 talked about them a little bit. And one of them was that we will likely, as Part 107 pilots, be able to, at some point, be able to fly BVLOS, beyond visual line of sight. And nobody knows what that'll look like yet, but he kind of alluded to the fact that it would be something just like you do with Lance or Lank, however you want to pronounce it right now, where you would get ready for the flight and you would get approval for BVLOS. Now, I'm sure if you're in a certain kind of urban environment near controlled airspace, you won't get that approval. But if you're out in the middle of nowhere in Class G airspace, I suspect you will. So that's, let me tell you, that alone would be worth having remote ID to me. So there are two sides to that coin. And I also recognize the fact that the guys that fly FPV have a very different perspective about it than I do as a camera drone pilot. They may not, they don't care about probably so much about BVLOS. So anyway, that's just kind of it in a nutshell. So I just hope that we get decent regulation. That's all. That doesn't just oppress our hobby.
Al, do you have any thoughts on this lawsuit by, the company name
quads
against the FAA over the remote ID?
Yeah, I mean they're definitely taking donations now for their legal defense or their legal team to take this on. I know Josh Bardwell has had him on his show numerous times to talk about the lawsuit. It looks like it's already affecting the outcome already to a positive point of view for the FPV racers, right? Because of the fact that when you wear the digital system, oh my gosh, it is so clear. It's like you're right there. Okay.
No breakup.
No breakup. No breakup. Now it'll even punch through evergreens to some degree. So because I've been flying and testing that out through evergreens, and I'm just amazed that it could do it. So yeah, it looks like they're going to probably put a limit on the height that the quads can get to, maybe 200 feet or something like that. But the FAA has already taken notice that we're gathering ammunition to fight this thing, right? Because everybody's building their own quads from scratch, and to add this other module in there that really doesn't make much sense to a competition day, right? Like race day quads we're talking about. They set up these tournaments, you go fly for the whole weekend and you get a winner. You're going to have everybody get remote ID for that and add extra weight to your drone. And if you're only going to be flying maybe 10, 20 feet above the ground, why? And why add that much noise to the system, right? Because it's remote ID is going to be so noisy as far as advertising. Here I am, and this is my signature, this is my call. And who's going to pick that up, and who's going to determine who's out of bounds or not in bounds? It just doesn't make sense for those type of flyers that are staying pretty low, right? Now, granted, we are getting into the FPV class long range flyers. Like we were discussing earlier, all you do is, put these 18650 batteries in here, and now this freestyle quad is a long range quad, okay? Because you can fly it over 25 minutes with a lithium-ion battery. So it's interesting to me that they're suing the FAA, and the FAA is taking notice that now they're being targeted with legal action. So I'm sure their legal team is looking at all this action that's going to be building up against this remote ID, and it should be pushed back, don't you think, Marcus?
Well, we're gonna get regulated, I suspect, no matter what. The thing is, we don't even know exactly what that remote ID looks like yet. I think, Al, what you're talking about in noise, your drone is already talking to your receiver, so it really isn't any additional noise. There may be more data in that stream, and all they're saying, I think, with remote ID is that if the authorities wanted to find out who's flying that drone, they can intercept that stream, and it would have your digital license plate in there. Now,
that's what I meant. To the system of the air traffic controller noise, they're going to be inundated. They're already overwhelmed with a lot of air traffic issues, right?
I don't see where the air traffic controllers come into this.
Yeah, who's going to monitor it? How is the FAA?
They don't, Al.
Yeah,
that's the point. So what it is if you're the New York City Police and you see a drone flying over the stadium, you've got a device that you can intercept the transmission from that drone, and it will identify where the transmitter, where the base station is at. That's what remote ID is. It's not just you have to receive it. So now the questions remain is I think at this point they're saying just the authorities can receive it, but I don't think that's been locked down yet. What I would want to avoid is if I'm out at Heroes Park, where I'm flying in perfectly legal in Class G airspace, and some Joe Blow that lives 2 houses down doesn't like drones and has an app on his phone and is able to look and say, hey, I don't like those guys flying drones over there at Heroes Park, and is able to come over and give us a hard time every time. That would be what I would object to, but I don't believe that's how it's gonna end up.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting how that all shakes out, because if you can get a receiver to not intercept, but get the information from that quad and the location of the transmitter receiver, they could just hassle you to know when.
Yeah, but here's the point that I'm making is if it gets me BVLOS, I'm all in.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah,
because we're, most of us are, on that edge anyway. So it'd be nice to have that cushion, right?
Most of us.
I would say most of us. Yeah,
I would say most of us too.
Obviously, you're not, because you don't fly down the river without losing track of your drone.
Hey guys, I want to shout out. We have a special gentleman to join us, Bob Casey Ariel. Bob's a big supporter of many drone shows. I had the pleasure of meeting Bob at the Great Florida Drone Meetup, and unfortunately, I didn't get one of my little video interviews with Bob like I did some of the other folks. But Bob's a great guy, and he made this great kind of wooden plaque in honor. He made it for somebody. I think it was maybe in honor of Rick Howard, but it was a great creation. He made out of wood, and he had the American flag, and some people have it in their videos. It was really beautiful. So just wanted to shout Bob out. He's been a big supporter, and I was glad to meet up with him. So,
hey, Ron,
we're gonna wrap. So to wrap up on this law, we got 1 minute to go. Wrap up on the lawsuit. So we think it's a good thing, bad thing, or we just don't know.
I don't know yet. Yeah. I'm not going to say one because we really we have to see all the details of implementation and all that before any of us can say that. But I'm just saying that, it may not be as bad as what people make it out to be. I hope.
And it's not even in the courts yet, right? So it could be a long time coming, right?
Yeah, the timelines are not even been kind of negotiate it yet within the FAA. So it's going to be a while.
Ron, before we go, I want to give you a shout out for your video that you published today on the meetup. I really enjoyed that, and it made me feel like I was there and got to see a lot of the folks. I like the way you got everybody to introduce themselves and so forth. That was a really great video, and I also want to acknowledge the tribute to Rick Halber that you put in the end. It was just right, very poignant.
Thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed it. My only regret is I didn't get the more people. I mean, I got most of those early, but after a certain time, late morning, people just rolled in, and I just couldn't keep up with all the new folks coming. So I'm sorry if I didn't get somebody out there, but I did get to talk to a lot of great people. And I may have some more stuff on my phone. I still have to go through all the video I took on the phone too, so I may have a few more. But anyhow, I want to really thank Al for coming on the show with us. It's been too long, Al. You got anything coming up new on your channel that you would like to promote before we say our good nights?
Yeah, I mean, I am moving into this type of world, right? So I am all in on this FPV stuff, and that's definitely my gig. It's not for everyone, as Marcus says. You know, if you don't like tinkering, this is not it. So my comparisons are going to be, you know, how does this compare to something like this? You know, 300 versus, well, this drone is probably $500 drone. You just have to buy the goggles and all that. But you know, once you get the goggles and the controller, all you have to do is keep buying FPV drones that have digital systems, either the Caddis Vista or the DJI Air units. And then hopefully DJI will go ahead and firmware update this thing so we can go ahead and bind it with these FPV flyers, because that's one of the reasons that I purchased the FPV system, is because, you know, you got a $600 pair of goggles, right? And you got a $400 controller. So now this drone really only cost me like $1,300. I mean, sorry, $300, $300 to $400, right? Because now I'm leveraging my investment, my goggles, right now, just my goggles, to fly other things. So that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of shifting a little bit and diverging into the FPV world. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to abandon the you know, GPS easy to fly drones, because of the fact, like we mentioned, the sensors are incredible, right? And the photography that you enjoy using for Ron, you know, those sunsets and sunrises, I'm a junkie for those things. If I see a really pretty sunset and I have a drone, I'll pull over and try to find a spot to launch from, you know, so I could just go up and do a hidden panorama view, or, you know, do that hyperlapse and lock it in, bring it on down, call it a day, because the DJI product line is just so easy to fly in those kind of conditions. Because, you know, you put it in hyperlapse, you hit C1 if you're using the Mavic 2 Pro, and it just goes straight and call it a day. Or you could do the circle hyperlapse, is even better, right? And you literally put it down and walk away. I was flying with one of my buddies, FPV buddies, and I took my, you know, DJI FPV drone, took it up, hauled butt, dropped it into sports mode, and I go, here, you want to take a look? And he freaked out when I handed him my goggles. He's like, what are you doing? It's going to crash. I said, no, it's GPS drone now. It's just sitting there. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. But, guys, I'm trying to get to 3,000 subscribers. And by the end of the year, I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. So help me out. And I'll do what I can to help you all out. We could leverage each other to grow together.
Thank you, Al, so much for being on with us tonight, and definitely want to get you back on soon, especially maybe when the Fimi starts shipping, or the Air 2, and get your thoughts on that. Marcus, do you have any closing thoughts tonight before we throw this over to Sean Oz?
We're a little bit over time, Ron. So what I'm going to say is go out. Let's all go out, fly drones, and have fun. And wait for the 15th.
Thank you, Marcus. I'm going to give a little update, folks. Baylor's up on Gonzaga 43-28 now in the first half. So that's the ball score right now. And I'm going to wrap up quick too. As Marcus said, over on my Ron Brown YouTube channel, I have the video about the drone meetup before, but I'm going to throw it in the DroneNation feed too, or whatever, as soon as I get around to it. But with that, I want everybody to jump over to Sean Oz's show. If you don't already subscribe, he's just Sean Oz on YouTube. Easy to find. He's got original Dobo, Ken Dono tonight. It's going to be a great show. So we will see you next week.